It's the Turbo and 2K show.
What's up, 2K crew? Yes, we are back live coming to you, and I'm so excited because it looks like everything in the Facebook group is going off without a hitch, so that is awesome. Welcome, everybody. Let me know that there are a handful of you watching live, so I do want to say thank you, but drop in the chat, what platform are you watching on? Because we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, and we are live on Twitter. So I'm always really excited to see where exactly everyone is watching, so yeah, go ahead and drop in the comments here where you are, where are you watching us from on this what seems to be like a gloomy, wet, and kind of rainy Sunday night. So let's get locked in because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're gonna talk over some news, and we're gonna jump into probably the biggest nugget of the whole weekend. Is the Shohei Ohtani news. What does it mean? Is he worth it? Where does this put the Dodgers? I mean, there's a lot of things to unpack here. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. All right, like I said, probably the biggest news came about 6 o'clock yesterday, and I'm with all of the which we'll kind of get into here in a little bit, but not to put the cart before the horse, if you will. Kudos to Jaden Daniels, LSU quarterback, for winning the Heisman. I mean, it was kind of an odd year. I mean, usually there's kind of a front runner where we all kind of agree that this guy is the guy. And I think leading up to probably the Washington-Oregon game, I think a lot of folks had Bo Nix kind of penciled in there. And he had a good performance. But it wasn't, of course, Oregon loses that game. But I have a feeling if he throws for like 350, 4 touchdowns, maybe a rushing touchdown, Oregon wins that game, we might have a different Heisman on our hands. So kudos to Mr. Daniels for joining the Heisman house. And I can't wait. I literally know next to nothing about this kid. From the looks of it, he has kind of everything that you're looking for in kind of what's becoming the prototypical quarterback for the NFL. He's mobile, he's accurate, he has a cannon for an arm. So we shall see where that goes, and it is going to be one heck of an NFL draft, and can't wait to break that down with you guys. And we've already seen some of the and transfer portal is another big story too that I'm going to wait till 2Ks gets back in the building so we can kind of break that down, along with the I am going to touch a little bit on the playoff, the final 4 teams in the playoffs. So, and you know what? Let's just jump into that. Let's just kind of rip the Band-Aid off, kind of get it out there, because this was news last week, and I was kind of hoping to go live last week, but 2Ks was he had a very bad fever. I mean, very bad. So kind of a good idea to put that on pause so he can get healthy and get back to it. And this week he has his one of his Christmas parties. So he is on his mom's side. So Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. And with that being said, if I'm not mistaken, let me just double check here, 2K crew. Nope. I believe that Christmas Eve is indeed on a Sunday, which it is, December 24th. So we will not be having a show on Christmas Eve. I have a feeling that there wouldn't be a whole lot of viewers on Christmas Eve, but you never know. You never know. But if I have a feeling if 2Ks and I want to stay married, that we will bypass that show. So kind of keep that in mind as we move forward. But yes, the college football playoff. If you guys have read my blog. If you haven't, either pick up a Marcellus newspaper or go to buyturbobeer.com and sign up on our email list, and you'll get notified every time I publish a blog. And while you're there, if you do want to donate, it's completely up to you. Buy 2Ks and I a beer, and we will shout you out on the show. But yeah, I in my opinion, did Florida State get screwed? Yes, they did. However, as a fan that has no skin in the game here, I think they got it right. I really do. And I think it's going to give us the best matchups going forward. Michigan, Alabama, Washington, and Texas. I think both those games are going to be fantastic. And while I'm thinking about it, let's take a peek at the spreads here, because I'm kind of curious to see where the books have these, because I haven't even, if I was a better host, I would have already had this taken care of. But yeah, my big thing with Florida State being in there is that are they one of the most deserving teams? Yes. Are they one of the best teams in the current state that they're in? No, they are not. Every team that the other 3 teams, 4 teams including Georgia, 5 teams including Ohio State, I have a feeling would beat that team quite handily. I mean, let's be honest, Louisville almost beat them, and it does suck for Florida State, for the fans, for the players. I get that. But as I guess you could say media member, but fan overall, I mean, these are the matchups I wanted. I was so stoked when the Alabama popped up at 4, and I'm like, yes, here we go. These are going to be probably some of the closest games we've seen. We've seen some of these first round matchups be absolutely blowouts. I have a feeling that is not going to be the case. We've got and why the Alabama-Michigan game is on first New Year's Day, I will never understand. You would think the number 1 seed would be kind of get the top billing, but not the case in this. Michigan is a 1.5 favorite. And in the second game, Texas and Washington, Texas is a 4-point favorite. So I have a feeling there's not going to be any blowouts like we've seen kind of in the past. And with Florida State in there, I think it gives, even if Florida State were to be number 3, okay, which in all honesty, you would put the 3 undefeated teams, and kind of if it held course, Texas would be that number 4 team. So even if you put Florida State number 3, I think that gives Washington an easier path. Or if they were number 4, Michigan has the easier path. So I think collectively the committee got it right. There's always going to be someone that's pissed. There's always going to be someone that's going to think they're the loser of this. So ultimately with 4 teams, you're never going to get it right. And especially this year with how much just kind of craziness that went on. And you could argue that Alabama needed a 4th and 31 or 4th and goal from the 31 to beat an Auburn team that is kind of shitty, for lack of better terms. But they did it. They won. And if Florida State would have, hung 50 on Louisville, we would be having a whole different conversation. So did they get it right? In my eyes, yes. But did they kind of, I'm not going to say punish a whole fandom? I honestly don't think that's the case, but it is kind of ironic that this is happening the last year of the 4-team format. Next year we're going to 12. And for all of you that are saying that ESPN is biased towards the SEC, they're biased towards Alabama, well, maybe yes, just because of ratings, yes. But ESPN owns the ACC network. Wouldn't they want to promote their own product in Florida State? I mean, that argument isn't really valid to me. Could it be? Sure. But I have a feeling this comes down to ratings. And yes, Alabama has a draw to where not only fans watch them, but people that cannot stand and hate Alabama and Nick Saban will tune into that game just to see and root them to lose. Michigan has a very loyal fan base, a very big fan base, but you're going to see that fan base increase exponentially because of the fact that people can't stand Alabama and Nick Saban. So it's crazy. It's crazy, and Now you might be saying to yourself, well, Turbo, it doesn't matter how many teams get in. There's always going to be someone going to be left out. Correct. But once we get down to 12, 13, 14, or 11, 12, 13, 14, you're talking about 2-loss, if not 3-loss teams. So it's way easier to kind of dissect and give tiebreakers in that situation when there are multiple losses like that rather than just one or none. So yes, is there going to be a conversation? Sure. Look at March Madness. March Madness has 68 teams, and there's always a discussion of who's left out or who should be seated where. So yes, we're always going to get those conversations. It's just going to be a little bit different, and in my opinion, it's going to be a whole lot easier to determine who gets those home field slots next year, and let it play out on the field. So that's enough of the news. I'm sure I bypassed a bunch of it because you would think as a better host, you would think that I would have these lined up, but I don't. Because news of the day, or pretty much of the offseason so far, is the signing of Shohei Ohtani. Now let's kind of dive into this a little bit further, because there was a lot of rumors being floated around that he was on a plane yesterday to Toronto to sign with the Blue Jays. There were reports that he was on an airplane already heading to Toronto. There were also reports coming out that there was a large venue inside the Rogers Center to kind of facilitate this announcement. Excuse me. And I kind of had a feeling that if anything, if this story were to break, it was going to break today. Going to break today or Monday. I didn't have I had a sneaking suspicion that it wasn't going to happen on Saturday, but it did. And kudos to whoever put that in the 2Ks group, because I want to say it was Kyler. So big shout out to you, dog. He posted that, and I'm like, no way. This has got to be Photoshop. This has got to be just something that's not true. And sure as shit, did a quick search on Twitter, and lo and behold, Shohei is a Dodger. Now, does that come to a surprise to me? Absolutely not. Had he actually signed with the Blue Jays, that would have blown my socks off. I mean, that would have just been, because if you think about the teams that he or his kind of criteria, it wasn't who's going to pay him the most, which we all know was going to be the Dodgers or the Mets, or not even the Yankees, which is I think we're Yankee fans have to be kind of confused here, but we'll get into the other the new Yankee here in a little bit, but yeah, was it he was putting winning ahead of making money, which kind of was like, okay, I get that. So you're going to go to or figure out which is the best roster for you to play in, which is the best, which division has, I'm not going to say the easiest road, but gives you more of a frequency to make the playoffs. And ultimately the Dodgers were it for him. And that I know some Cubs fans were brokenhearted. Even as a Red Sox fan, once I saw the Dodgers news, I was like, oh man, it really would have been cool to see him in Fenway. But, and this is the big but. He signs a 10-year, $700 million contract. 10 years, $700 million. Which is absolutely obscene. The next biggest baseball salary contract was Mike Trout. which was, I believe, for like $425 or $450. So there was a whole lot of extra stepping stones that Scott Boras was like, nope, we're right here. This is it. And ultimately, it came down to, I'm sure the Dodgers were the only team that were willing to pony up $700 million. And it was kind of the 10-year part didn't surprise me. There were some reports that he was looking for 12. So I'm not sure where that kind of broke down, but I'm on the New York Times. It says now Ohtani, 29, has broken another barrier, signing a record 10-year, $700 million contract to play for the Los Angeles Dodgers. The deal announced Saturday was as eye-popping as his tape measure home runs and blazing fastball. More than $275 million above what his Angels teammate Mike Trout received in 2019, and $10 million more per year than Damian Lillard of the NBA's Milwaukee Bucks, who had the highest annual salary in American pro sports. It also eclipses that $50 million to $60 million that the Argentine soccer star Lionel Messi is earning each year to play for the Major League Soccer's Inter Miami. That's a whole lot of money. And if you're an opposing pitcher, okay, let's put our pitching hat on. Let's toe the rubber opening day or any time during the season, but let's say opening day, just because the likelihood of everyone to be healthy on opening day is greater, just because you haven't played the season, and it just makes more sense to do that. And I believe the Angels are playing the Cardinals first, so it might be Sonny Gray that's towing the rubber. And to lead off the game, Mookie Betts steps in the batter's box. Number 2, Ohtani. Number 3, Freddie Freeman. So not only do the Dodgers have the 2-time unanimous AL MVP, last year's runner-up in the NL in Mookie Betts, and last year's third place in Freddie Freeman. That's an all-star lineup. Now, here's where it gets kind of tricky, because we all kind of know that Shohei will not be pitching next year. It will be till 2025. Yeah, 2025 until he is able to do both. Fingers crossed. And if you look back at it, 2Ks and I were kind of asking ourselves, well, can the Angels pay him $500 million and have both him and Trout in the same on the same roster? Well, the Dodgers kind of answered that question. Could a team financially do it? And the answer is obviously yes, because Mookie Betts, big contract, not as big as Mike Trout's, but if you add to it Freddie Freeman's, it's probably more than what Mike Trout's getting. And now put even more, $200 more million on top of that, and getting a Shohei Ohtani. But the one thing, if I'm a Dodger fan, which obviously Magic Johnson and that ownership has no issues going over the luxury tax, that's not even a question. But where's your pitching coming from? Where's your pitching coming from in 2024? That's my question. I mean, when I kind of did a little bit of research, the Dodgers, I believe, are projected to win 87 games. With that payroll, 87 games is it. Now, granted, you might be saying to yourself, well, Turbo, hold on. The Dodgers aren't done yet. Free agency it just started, legitimately. Yes, we've seen some other players sign elsewhere, but the main domino has fallen, and now we're going to see probably a lot more guys sign now that Shohei is off the market, just because there were kind of the teams that were in the mix. Now obviously they're not in the mix, and they're taking that money elsewhere and picking this, grabbing this guy, grabbing this guy, grabbing this guy. And I now that that big fish has been caught, it's like, okay, now we can go through and fine tune our roster and just to see exactly where everything's going to fall. So it's rumored that the Dodgers are still in on Yamamoto, which that would $1 billion to 2 players, because it's rumored Yamamoto is asking for $300 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, honey. A lot of money, especially for a player that's not proven in MLB. Yeah. We've seen the hype around Daisuke Matsuzaka. We've seen, the hype around Yu Darvish, obviously with Shohei. But man, it's just mind blowing. It's mind blowing. And if you're a fan of a small market team, even the Red Sox at this point, it seems like they're a big market team operating like a small market team. Yes, we've made some trades. Yes, we've kind of dabbled and dipped our toe, in free agency, but it is rumored that the Red Sox are in on Yamamoto. If you're a Blue Jays fan, you have to be disappointed. I mean, you talk about the biggest dick tease of all time. People tweeting and saying that they confirmed have seen Shohei on a plane. We have confirmation that this room is being booked for the announcement. And it comes out that he makes the announcement himself on his Instagram. Okay. Okay. And if you're a Cubs fan, I mean, that's kind of be a big dick tease too. Big dick tease too. So I know it's hard to fathom, and it's something that I haven't even wrapped my arms around yet at all. But is he worth it? Is he worth it? That is going to, and this is the way I'm going to have this conversation is he worth it? And I'm throwing this out there as if they're not even going to win a World Series. If they win a World Series, slam dunk, this is worth it. Hands down, this contract will pay for itself. Slam dunk, boom. Not even an issue. Not even an issue. And I really urge folks to go over to the Baseball Does Not Exist channel over on YouTube. Joey does a very, very awesome breakdown of what exactly, like ad revenue, jersey sales, how much money the Angels made on Ohtani. How much money did Ohtani make the Anaheim Angels? How much? And Joey actually predicted the 10-year, $700 million. I want to say it was last year the Angels made $20 million just off Shohei. That's after paying his contract. That's after a whole bunch of things have already been paid off. This was an extra $20 million. Okay? So I believe Shohei got somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 last year, so 50. Yes, I know we haven't approached that 70 mark, but the one thing that the Dodgers will do that the Angels did not, first of all, is win. Let's just throw that out there. Win. LA is a way bigger market than Anaheim. Yes, still the same state. But he's going to Hollywood, where it's glitz, glamour. That's where all the pretty people are, and when you get to a bigger metropolitan area like that, the the ethnic breakdown is different. It's just fact of the matter. Just fact of the matter. And I have a very, very good feeling that because the Dodgers are going to be relevant, because the Dodgers are going to be in the playoff mix, because the Dodgers have that lineup, have that power in their lineup, it's going to be a little bit more appealing to all of these Japanese advertisers to pay the extra money to promote their product, service, whatever, in Dodger Stadium. It's just the fact of the matter. It's just the fact of the matter. And especially the way social media is working now, and I'm saying now as opposed to like when Pujols signed that deal with the Angels, when Miggy signed his contract with the Tigers. You're seeing franchises get paid ad revenue. They're getting paid so many views, so many clicks on highlights on Twitter, highlights on whatever platform that you're looking at. Yes, $700 million is a shit ton of money, 2K crew. Shit ton of money. Can't argue that fact at all. At all. Is that an obscene amount? Yes. Yes, absolutely 100%. But business-wise, just business-wise, the Dodgers will make this money back and some. And some. So as far as are the Dodgers going to be strapped for cash because of this deal? Absolutely not. They're going to make money. They're going to be ahead of the game when it comes to this season, next season, and you know what? There's not a single opt-out in this contract. So Ohtani is, he for all intents and purposes, is going to finish his career as a Dodger. Unless the Dodgers move him, which I highly doubt. So, hey Brenda, what's up? But yeah, this business-wise makes all the sense in the world. Now, let's take that one step further. The Dodgers do win a World Series. All right. I have a feeling those same advertisers that were advertising for every home game during the regular season are going to want to continue during the playoffs and the World Series. And you know what? The price tag goes up for all of that. Each step of the way. The part that sucks is that I guarantee everything in Dodger Stadium is going to follow suit. I haven't been to Dodger Stadium, but I have a very good feeling if it's expensive as hell to go to a game in Detroit or Chicago, it's even more. I'm just guessing that it's going to be astronomically expensive to take you and your kids to a Dodger game. It's just it's California. Everything's more expensive out there. B, it's Los Angeles, so take that up another notch. And C, Ohtani. It's supply and demand. There's only a certain supply. There's 81 home games. And the demand is going to be exponential. I have a very good feeling that the Angels sold out probably every home game this year, if not probably very close. And because of the Dodger fandom, because one of the things that the Dodgers have that the Angels do not is the Dodgers are a global brand. Yeah, you could kind of say that every franchise is a global brand, but not to the extent of the Dodgers. You know, there's your certain teams that you know, I guarantee if you wore a logo of one of these teams and went over to China, went over to Japan, went over to England, if you wore a Cowboys hat, Dallas Cowboys, whether you're a fan of them or not, are a global brand. The Dodgers, probably Duke basketball, the Yankees. I mean, these are global brands that I guarantee 90% of the people you run into all over the world will not, I'm not going to say know the squad, know all the ins and outs of the team, but they will recognize that brand. I guarantee it. I'm not going to say it's as big as Nike or something like that, but the Lakers are another one. And where do they play? LA. So this is, and I have a very good feeling that the way the Angels are going to market this, and is going to be kind of the blueprint of how every team should do their marketing around their star player. The only difference is the Dodgers have a unicorn and no one else has him. So was it why? I have a feeling that because he is a Scott Boras client, that probably the actual only other offer was probably $500 million. But he kept telling Magic Johnson in the Dodgers brass, be like, hey, you better go 7 to just blow everyone else out of this conversation. And lo and behold, they did. So is it worth it? Yes. Business-wise, yes. The ROI on this contract, it will be immense business-wise. It will only go up from there the more success this team has. They do need some pitching. And if Dave Roberts is still the manager when it comes time to tell Shohei that he can't pitch anymore, he's just going to be a hitter, I don't want to do that. I wouldn't want to be that manager at all. I wouldn't want to be that GM. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near the room that conversation is going to be had, because it eventually it's going to happen. It's going to have to happen. Now you might be saying, well, is it not now on field? We've talked about the business side. Now let's talk about the on field. Because is it possible that he can pitch for 10 years? Well, yeah, he'll be going into age 40 at the tail end of this contract. So we just saw Justin Verlander have a hell of a year. Not only this year, but last year. Age 40, 2 Tommy Johns. So is it possible? Yes. The main difference is Justin Verlander doesn't hit. I'd be curious to see how many actual base hits he has in his career, because I guarantee they're not a lot. And to be honest with you, yes, the pitching stuff with Shohei is fantastic. But most people come to watch him and follow him because of his hitting. So is $70 million a shit ton for a DH in 2024? 100%. And because this is so taxing on his body, do you really think he's going to be able to keep it up and stay healthy for 10 years? Nope. As much as I want him to hear this and be like, you know what, Turbo, you're wrong. I will do this. And for the game of baseball, I hope I'm wrong. But the realist in me is like, there's not a chance. There is not a chance in hell that this happens. So I guess it's one of those things we can still enjoy it while it's here. We can enjoy it, and as a baseball fan, I will for sure. Let's see here. Let's see if I'm missing any part of this article here, because there was a question come up to. Let me make sure. I'm getting the wording right here, 2K Crew, so hold on a bit. This was from our boy Cody Braisman. It said, Jordan, LeBron, Brady, Woods are all richer people in sports. I did a little digging here, Cody, and if we're just talking about what their contracts are. If we're just talking contracts, and none of the endorsements, none of any of that, because that's harder to kind of pin down. LeBron, let's start with him. This is a tweet from Wojo. The 2-year, $97.1 million extension, which includes a 15% trade kicker, makes LeBron James the highest earning player in NBA history, with $532 million in guaranteed money. Hasn't even reached that $700 million yet. And this is, I think, LeBron's season 21, if I'm not mistaken. It says he surpasses Brooklyn's Kevin Durant, which Durant isn't even on Brooklyn anymore. James has earned $389 million over his first 19 years in the NBA, and he's set to make $44.5 million that was last year, 22 to 23. That's this year. Which could have been his final year of his contract, the Lakers, but he will add another $48.6 million in his last deal. So you asked about Tom Brady. According to Forbes, Brady earned some $525 million during his 23 seasons, of which $333 million was from playing contracts and more than $200 million of his off-field activities. So Brady's $333 million. And Tiger's kind of the king of, or was kind of the king of the sponsorship deal. Woods has made more than $157 million in winnings during his career. That is from April of 2023. He obviously hasn't played since then. So who were the other ones that he mentioned? I did those just because Jordan, obviously, whole different era, not as far as contracts are concerned, not net worth. But contract-wise, Shohei's $700 million contract is the richest in sports history. We already talked about he's more than Messi, but as far as career earnings, not endorsement deals, just contractual earnings, his one contract is for 10 years. Now, like I said, he's probably earned 60 to 70 in the years prior from the Angels. So we're looking at almost $800 million when he's done with this contract. Now, not to say that he's going to be done after that contract and retire. So we could be seeing Shohei for 15 more years. Who knows? I told you he's the unicorn, so it wouldn't shock me for some reason that he's around till 45 years old doing what he does. But as of right now, it is the richest contract in all of sports. And like I said, LeBron is the next closest. And it took him 21 years, or we'll take him 22 years. 22 years to come to still be, where the hell did it go? $160 million shy of that. $160 million shy of that. And if you look at that as far as next year, Shohei himself is going to make more than payrolls of some teams. Keep that in mind. So yeah, if you're asking me, is this contract worth it? Yep. Does it solve all the problems that the Dodgers have? Nope, not even close. Are the Dodgers done in free agency? Nope, not even close. If they are, I'd be shocked. Now, for most franchises, you just blew your load for a long time. But not the Dodgers. And I'm surprised that Kyler and Rich aren't on here, because they probably still have massive ragers right now in their pants, just going yes, Shohei boners for everybody. Let's go. But address your pitching before you LA are wasting Shohei's talent. So let's jump over to the NFL here real quick, do a quick rundown. There will not be a top 5 tonight just because obviously 2Ks is not here. Start off with the 1 o'clock games. Lions at Bears. What the hell is going on with the Lions? What the hell is going on with the Lions? And what are the Bears doing? You're totally I thought we were tanking for good players here, Chicago. And the minute I jump on the Lions bandwagon, they stink. What the hell's going on, guys? Let's get that. I mean, the Lions can't lose to the Bears. Cannot happen. Cannot happen. Shouldn't happen. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Let's Broncos at Chargers. This is man. I think this Justin Herbert injury might be the final straw to break the camel's back for Brandon Staley and that coaching staff. I think you're going to see possibly a new GM, but I would be shocked if Staley finishes the season out because the Chargers are 5-8. Chargers are 5-8. Yes, I mean, I did not watch this game, but I'm kind of curious, and I'm assuming it was the same finger that he had wrapped up for the eternity of this season. So 2K crew, let me know if that was the case. And this Broncos team, 2K crew, are 7-6. They win 24-7. Russ is cooking with Sean Payton. So if you are a Broncos fan, cool. Obviously T's and P's to Justin Herbert. And with the way the season's going at 5-8, brother, I'd be done for the year. I'd be done for the year. I would not rush back. Now here's one I really wanted to dive into, 2K crew. Colts at Bengals. I mean, let's take it. I'm sure I was not the only one that was throwing dirt on the grave of the Bengals when Joe Burrow went down. But this Jake Browning cat, ooh, man, goes 18-24, 275 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and he also has a rushing touchdown as the Bengals get a big win at home over the Colts, 34-14. Both teams are 7-6. Gardner Minshew had a pretty good game as well, 26-39, 240, a touchdown and a pick. Almost no rushing attack, so I think I'm assuming Jonathan Taylor is not back. So JT, let's get back and help this team out. Pittman has a day with 95 yards. Let's see here. Chase Brown, didn't even know this guy existed. 3 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Jamar Chase, 3 catches, 29 yards. I think for the first time in quite a while that all of the weapons for the Bengals were healthy, so that's a good sign. Joe Mixon, 21 carries, 79 yards, and a touchdown. So yeah, a great game, surprising game. And Jake Browning, dude, you for every second that you play, you are making yourself a shit ton of money, kid. Go out and do it. Jags at Browns. Browns get a big win here. 8-5. The Browns are 8-5. So are the Jags. T-Law has an up and down game, 28-50, 257, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. ETN has a decent day on the ground and through the air. Has a rushing touchdown. Evan Ingram led the way with 95 yards and 2 tuds. Joe Flacco throws for 300 yards. That is absolutely amazing. If you had that on your bingo card today, I bet you were thinking, shit, I am done. This sucks. 300 yards, 3 tutties, and a pick. We get a Kareem Hunt sighting in the end zone, as well as David Njoku. Good for you, man. 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. So yeah, this Browns team, for all of Joe Flacco wasn't on the roster 2 weeks ago. So let's kind of think about that real quick. I mean, we've got we've got the Jets who went back to. I mean, they've had 4 or 5 quarterbacks play this year. Went back to Zach, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about that game. Texans at Jets. I figured this would be a book it Texans huge victory here. Not the case. CJ Stroud gets knocked out in the concussion protocol. Only has 91 yards passing. Zach Wilson, 27 to 36, 301 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. No interceptions. Breece Hall has a day. Garrett Wilson has a day. I mean, this is something I did not expect. I'm pretty sure most folks really didn't expect CJ Stroud to go out. But Texans are still 7-6. Jets are still 5-8. Do I think this is a Jets team that you have to worry about in the playoffs? Nope. But I still have a feeling that Houston is going to find their way into the playoffs. Bucks at Falcons. Barn burner here, folks. 29-25. Bucks get the win. Let's see. Panthers Saints. No one cares. Rams Ravens came down. That one went to OT, and I believe had a kick run back for the win. Let's look at the box score of that one real quick. And if you watch the pregame 2K Crew, this was the game that, was raining and everyone was expecting just kind of a sloppy, just mud fest. Stafford throws for 294, 3 touchdowns. Lamar goes for 316, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Also has 70 rushing yards. Kyron Williams has 114 yards rushing for the Rams. Excuse me. Cooper Kupp has a Cooper Kupp-esque game, 8 catches, 115 yards and a tud. So this was a hell of a game. Leading into this game, I was pretty sure that the Ravens were going to take care of business. And they did, but the Rams made it way more interesting than I have a feeling a lot of us would have thought. And quietly, 2K Crew, the Ravens are 10-3. 10-3. No one's talking about them. So yeah, keep an eye out on them. Seahawks Niners 28-16. Not a big shocker there. The game ended while the countdown was going on. Bills at Chiefs. Bills come away with a huge win, probably a season-saving win, to move to 7-6. If they're 6-7, we're talking about a whole different story here. Chiefs fall to 8-5. Josh Allen goes for 233, a touchdown and a pick. Mahomes 271, touchdown and a pick. James Cook was the difference in this game, 2K Crew. He had 58 yards rushing and 83 yards receiving and a touchdown. Just an absolute beast of a game. It was the first Bills game that I've watched where they actually had a formidable running attack. And it wasn't Josh Allen. Josh Allen only had 32 yards rushing. Normally that's the other way around. Josh Allen is leading the team with rushing yards, and James Cook is behind him. That's not the case. That wasn't the case today. So big win for the Bills. And as we're kind of going here, we're still in the first quarter. Eagles at Cowboys. Cowboys are up 7-0. I bet you 2Ks has a big Cowboys boner. Probably not as big as a Dodger boner that we just passed out earlier, but I guarantee it is probably a borderline rager at this point. And ultimately, a game the Cowboys should win. So yeah, let's look at. We got 2 games Monday night, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. We have Titans at Dolphins and Packers at Giants. Wow. Miami's 13.5-point favorite. Yep. Give me the Fins, and I'll give the 14 on that one. I have no issue with that. Packers are a 6-point favorite. Yep. Give me that as well. Over under 46.5 for Titans Fins. Smash the over. and the over-under 36.5 Packers-Giants. I'd smash the over on that one too because the Packers might score that themselves. So if you take betting advice from me, I'm actually going to sell half a point and give me 14, Miami minus 14, and the over, and I'll give the 6 points with Green Bay and take the over as well. And I did kind of tease it here, 2K Crew, and it's not because he did sign or he was acquired by the Yankees, but a huge acquisition by the Yankees. Get Juan Soto from the Padres, and just to bolster that lineup. Again, this is what I don't understand is where are these teams going to get pitching? Think about that. Both the Dodgers and the Yankees. And if you're a Yankee fan, is Soto going to sign an extension there? Or did you just mortgage I'm not going to say mortgage the farm, but gave up quite a lot of pitching talent to acquire him, which is exactly what San Diego needed. So did both teams kind of get what they needed? Yeah, a little bit, but the offense really wasn't the problem with the Yankees. A little bit, yeah, but everyone's running out this roster, all right, Stanton, Judge, Rizzo, Soto, Torres, insert name here, and the Yankee catcher who caught most of the games last year went to San Diego. So I get it, offense puts asses in the seats, and chicks dig the long ball still. But the main problem with this team last year was pitching. Main problem with the Dodgers last year was pitching. And yes, you could say that both teams went out and acquired generational talent. Yes, I understand that. Completely understand that. There's only one Juan Soto and there's only one Shohei Ohtani. I get it. But if you're a Yankee fan, you better hope to pray to God that Cashman gets this deal done sooner rather than later. If I'm a Yankee fan, I want this deal done before spring training starts. In the back of my mind, I want this done so we don't even have to think about it. It's not even going to be a distraction. There's not going to be insert excuse here when Soto struggles. If I'm a Yankee fan, I don't want that. I don't want the uncertainty. Give me that now. Give it to me now. And then let's because if you look at the pitchers in free agency, it's not really that great of a market. Some of the names, I mean, are you banking on a Yamamoto? There's only one of him as well. And if the Dodgers get him, where does that leave the Yankees? Going back to Jordan Montgomery? Maybe. They have the assets in the farm, supposedly, to hit the trade market. Maybe. Same with the Dodgers. Maybe. But who do you get? And if it's not now, when it comes trade deadline, I mean, granted, I have a feeling if you're a Mets fan, you really didn't expect both Scherzer and Verlander gone at the trade deadline. But I mean, this has been one of the most weird, outlandish, just unpredictable off seasons so far. And yes, a lot of those adjectives I just laid out were because of Ohtani, because we've never seen anything like this before. But some of the other stuff, it's like, really? Okay, that's the reason. I guess that's why I sit here and do this, and I'm not a baseball executive, because I really don't understand it. I really don't understand it. Well, 2K Crew, we just hit an hour here, and if you've ever tried to talk by yourself for an hour, it's not easy. So we're going to wrap it up. Hopefully next week, 2Ks will be sitting right there so we can talk amongst ourselves at least. And it'll be kind of status quo, if you want to put it that way. So everyone have a great week. We will see you next week. And as always, Jim Rome, we're coming for you.